Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me and for inviting me to come and speak about the National College for High Speed Rail. I'm going to just give you a bit of detail about us at the National College, but also provide you with a bit of information about HS2 and the approach that they're taking in their procurement, so you understand the importance that they're putting on skills, education and employment. So the theme of this event has been about innovation, and it's at the heart of what we do at the college. HS2 is representative of a complete transformation of the rail industry in this country. We're moving into an era where there are more non-traditional roles coming forward than ever before, such as design and digital, and they're going to play a key part in infrastructure moving forward. And the higher level of technical skills is where the skills challenge is really going to hit. It's going to be mandated that more focus is put onto higher level of skill, and to make sure that upcoming rail projects really put a focus on ensuring training takes place at that level. The infrastructure of the future can only be created by a workforce with the latest high-tech engineering skills and experience in high-speed rail, digital technology and advanced manufacture. If I use HS2 as an example, using BIM through the lifetime of the project, meaning that even the most traditional of roles on HS2 will be more technically in depth than before, before any other railway has been built. So to ensure a workforce that is fit for the present and for the future, and to enable an industry to thrive in a new era, and to establish infrastructure that leads to growth in the UK, we're creating an institution that's dedicated to long-lasting change. So the National College for High Speed Rail is currently in development. We will open our doors this September. We have two campuses, one here in Birmingham, which is just across the road, and one in Doncaster. Both of them have been developed to have a specific focus on different parts of the curriculum that we will deliver. So our Birmingham campus is our Digital and Civil Engineering Centre of Excellence, and Doncaster will be our Higher Technical Engineering Centre of Excellence. The National College is a really exciting time, not only for the rail industry and the focus that it will provide to developing the skills, but also because it is the first college in 20 years to be incorporated in the UK. So we're not only taking on the skills challenge for the rail industry, but we're also taking on the challenge to make sure that we improve the FE, the education sector, to ensure it meets industry need. And that's really reflected in everything that we do as a provider. So from our governance through to how we're developing our curriculum to who will be in the college delivering provision, we have been working with employers to make sure that the provision that we provide, the courses we put on, absolutely meet the skills needs that the industry have. Now, I know you're here to talk about HS2 and hear about how you can get involved in the HS2 project. And I'm not going to stand here and pretend I'm an expert in everything they're doing or talk on their behalf. But what I can do is give you a bit of insight into how HS2 is considering skills, education and employment, and the focus that they're putting on that through their procurement process. So this slide in front of you gives you an example of how HS2 is assessing, using a scorecard approach, the procurement activity and the bids that come in. And you'll see that they have a number of categories, of which skills and employment is one of them, where they have social aims, economic aims and environmental aims that they want their supply chain to be adopting. And when it comes to the supplier scorecard, so how they assess the bids, they then look at what you've put into your bid and they will give you a score in relation to that. And again, skills and employment is one of the key areas that they're looking at to make their assessment. So just to give you a bit more detail about the type of thing that they would expect to sit within the skills and employment area. So they really want to make sure that any supplier that's working on HS2 is adopting their ethos and following their vision. So they have got three key areas that they're looking at. One is to create those sustainable jobs and opportunities. The other is to ensure that we are developing talent to put into the workforce so that we can put into UK PLC. And the other is to be exemplar in equality and diversity. They have a number of areas that they look at, such as creating job and apprenticeship opportunities, upskilling the existing workforce, creating a pipeline of talent, of which schools engagement is the starting point, but supporting the National College for High Speed Rail sits at the other end of the spectrum, right to encouraging a more diverse workforce that better represents and serves future customers. In addition to the specific outputs that are shown on this slide that they look at, contractors will also be expected to provide forecast information on employment and skills requirements on a quarterly basis, and to advertise job vacancies related to the contract with Job Centre Plus and other job brokerage mechanisms, and organisations providing pre- and post-employment support nominated by HS2. So you can see, by supporting the National College for High Speed Rail, it places you in a really good place to be able to meet these requirements of HS2 when they're doing the assessment. And we've been working closely with Tier 1 suppliers, but we want to make sure that we're also working now with the rest of the supply chain that's getting engaged, so that you can understand what we're about and so that we can help you be part and be successful in the HS2 story. So let me just go on and talk a bit more about us as a national college. Where do we sit in the landscape and what is it that we will be focusing on? So the National College for High Speed Rail is targeted at those aged 18 and above. We have no maximum age limit. We're sitting in the education space after full-time education, so after A-levels or equivalent NVQ type practice at level 3. And we will be delivering what is the equivalent to the first year of an undergraduate programme, the second year of an undergraduate programme, and we've got a number of university partners that can convert that into a full degree apprenticeship. We'll be offering higher apprenticeships and higher technical certificate to people who want to work in the industry and employers, excuse me. So we have been developed with and by industry, and I think it's fair to say that our success and failure is going to be based on how we engage and how industry engage with us as we move forward into delivery. Now, we've made sure that industry is embedded in our team to make sure that we've got the breadth of the requirement going forward. And the way that we have done that is we have been working with them on the development of our curriculum. So we've had sat round the table in a Trailblazer group to develop a brand new high-speed rail higher apprenticeship programme and a high-speed rail higher technical certificate. We've been working to make sure that we understand the skills requirements that enable people to not only work on conventional rail projects, but to ensure that they've got the skills that they need to move into HS2 and high-speed rail projects as well. So that's where the focus has been around the curriculum. But we've also been working with employers to make sure that we have got work experience opportunities for those young people who don't come to us on an apprenticeship programme, but want to do a full-time programme of study, and they want to be able to get into the industry to understand more about it, to help them decision take in where they should be focusing. So we have a broad range of companies that have been offering us work experience placements so that they can take some of our learners and give them an experience within a particular part of the industry. Our aim is to make sure that our higher technical learners have the opportunity to go into 3 different types of company for a period of time so that they can get a better understanding of what's going on, what they can expect if they go into the workplace. So by the end of their course, they are far more understanding of the sector, of the different types of role, and what will be required of them as an employee. We've also been working with employers to make sure that our buildings are kitted out with the latest kit and equipment. So we have a rather long specialist equipment list, and we've been getting donations from industry for that equipment. Now, we recognise that not all companies can provide us with power cars and bogies of the train itself, but what we're looking for is tools, pieces of equipment that would take place within the civil engineering side of things. We're also looking at component parts, bits of software that would be taking place in simulators, so that we can bring that into the college and we can give our learners exposure to the latest kit and equipment and how the industry is changing. And all of this is to make sure that those young people and those people being upskilled can go back into the workplace and they're familiar and able to use the equipment that they will see on site. We're also working with employers to make sure that we're supporting them on their learners, on apprentices. So to help you understand the apprenticeship levy and how do you make the most of the levy if you're a levy payer, to understand more about the apprenticeship programme, how we're delivering, but also other partners in the market and what they're offering, so that we can make sure that we support you and help you be able to place apprentices and therefore meet your commitments with HS2. So we can provide advice to you on a number of areas, and these 4 categories really summarise where we can provide some free of charge advice about how do you really maximise the opportunity of having an apprentice within your company and sending them to the National College or another education provider. So we can talk to you about how you utilise the levy, what does the salary need to look like, what sort of support does that apprentice need when they're with you, what type of experience should you be providing them with. I've got a whole team in the office that is more than happy to sit down with you on a one-to-one basis or in groups to be able to explain, take you through that to make sure that we're tailoring an opportunity within the college that you can make the most of. So in terms of what we're going to deliver, we open, as I said, 27th of September this year, and we're going to have a focus this year on our Level 4 higher apprenticeship. Our focus will be civil engineering here in Birmingham, track systems in Doncaster, and then systems engineering across both sites. We'll also be delivering a Level 5 higher apprenticeship in operations and departmental manager. Now, we've taken that course and made sure that we put a rail context around it so that it is relevant for people who will be working on the project and within the industry. And we'll also be offering a number of continuous professional development modules, which are short courses to meet employers' needs. And we're currently talking to a range of companies, so if you have short course requirements that you would like us to develop for you and deliver to your workforce, again, we're looking to have those conversations to make sure that we can tailor this to be appropriate and useful to you. In year 2, so from September 2018, we will be increasing our provision offer. So the other specialist pathways of our high-speed apprenticeship will come online. And that will include rolling stock, power, command control, communications. And we're also will be delivering our higher technical certificate, which is a full-time programme for 18-year-olds, alongside a broader offer of continuous professional development, and again, the Level 5 apprenticeship. So for September this year, we have developed a package of 6 short courses that we will be offering in the first instance, and they are currently under development. These are courses where we've had feedback that these would be really useful here and now, so we can start developing them and offering them from September. But we do want to grow this, and we also recognise you may have specific company needs. And again, we can help by developing appropriate programmes that we can deliver on site or at the National College. So just to give you a bit more detail about what that CPD could look like. And what's really important to us is that we don't develop this in isolation, and we get your feedback and your input in what should be covered, how it should be delivered, and how it can be of real value. So in terms of your apprentices, there's 3 really routes that we're looking at apprentice at the moment. So one is to upskill your existing workforce if there are people who you want to take on to the next level so they can do career progression, people who've been in the industry for a while and they need to make sure that they've got the latest skill for the technology coming forward. And we would work with you to be able to identify those candidates, and then we would support them on their learner journey by getting them enrolled in the college and providing them with support around the training that they would then undertake. We're also looking at people who are new into the business that you want to put onto an apprenticeship to start their journey with you, and how we can support them as well. We can help you in your recruitment process, and we also have a long list of people who have come directly to the college, so young people and some young adults who would like to get involved in the rail industry looking for an apprenticeship placement. So we can also help you fill your vacancies through the list that we have that continues to grow, and look at how we can do some vacancy placement for you. We have a number of delivery models, and this is not put up to confuse, but I think it's really to just say that we are adaptable, agile and flexible. So we can make sure that we tailor the programme and the apprenticeship programme to suit what you need within your organisation. So here are a couple of examples about how it potentially could work. So on our level 5 operations and departmental manager, we have the first 8 weeks can be a core that we deliver, which is really giving the underpinning knowledge about the rail industry, but also the context of high speed and how it differs. And then we would offer 6 blocks of 2 weeks that can be delivered through a mix of online learning, coming and doing some residential activity with us, or on day release. The alternative model is that we can do residential or sessions delivered at your workplace if the cohort is of a size that would make sure that that's meaningful for the learners that are undertaking the provision. The other offer that we've got is around the high-speed rail and infrastructure technician apprenticeship, where our core is 12 weeks. And we have developed that with input to make sure that it's really providing the core skills that are needed, the core knowledge that's needed, before we go into the specialist pathway that would be delivered. Now, we can deliver that 12 weeks in a manner of ways. We can do a full block, so if you have an apprentice, we can take them for the first 12 weeks. We would provide all of their health and safety training. We would provide the underpinning knowledge about the rail sector, how it operates. Project management, asset management are included in there, as well as things such as cyber security and some of the new technologies coming forward. But we can also break that 12 weeks down and deliver it in a range of different formats, again, to make sure that we're not taking people out of the workplace for an extended period of time that wouldn't work for you. So we want to have the individual conversations to make sure that we're tailoring this to your needs and developing the cohorts we need to make this a meaningful experience for the learners. After the 12 weeks, the expectation is that over a 3-year period, those learners would come back into the college on 9 blocks of 2 weeks, or they can do day release to us. So that, again, there's a variety of ways that we can make this work. We've also got a way that we can do it on 1 week induction and day release if a smaller amount of time in the college at any one given period works for you. I would really encourage that you come and speak to members of my team at the National College so that we can talk about how we can tailor this to make sure that it's something that you can really make benefit of, and that we can ensure that your learners have a really positive experience with us. And paying for training, I'm sure if you are an apprenticeship levy payer, you are well aware that that is now being drawn down from government and available for you to spend. And it's how do you really maximise that to the best use for your workforce and for your company. And with non-levy payers, so for smaller companies, the government will pay 90% of the cost of the apprenticeship training, and you'll need to meet the remaining 10%. So again, you will be responsible for paying your apprentice's salary and any related costs. But the bit that the college takes on for you is to make sure that when they are with the college and when they are undertaking their training, it's a positive learning experience. They're getting high quality delivery, and that we're making sure that they stay part of the college family after they've left us, to ensure that we can keep offering them upskilling opportunities and they understand what's going on and the movements taking place across industry. So in terms of this, just some background information really that I wanted to provide you. So for those that are unfamiliar with the trailblazer approach, the government has adjusted some of its expectations. So all of our qualifications on the apprenticeship, we have made sure that we've mapped them to EngTech at UK spec standards. So we really wanted to make sure that the apprenticeship that we've developed aligns with those professional standards. The government have moved away from supporting mandatory qualifications as part of apprenticeships. So since the beginning of this year, whenever they've developed new apprenticeships and signed off the new standards, they haven't been signing off mandatory qualifications unless there is a legal reason why you need to have that qualification in place. So our apprenticeship won't have a mandatory qualification, but like I said, we have made sure that it maps to the professional qualifications, and we can support a learner to get their professional qualification in the different discipline that they're in. So endpoint assessment is a real focus now, and the quality and the rigour of endpoint assessments have changed. So no longer are apprenticeships something that you can just get signed off a piece of paper, the activity that you've been doing during the year. There is an assessment process at the end of it, and the endpoint assessment that we have developed with our industry partners is to make sure there is an exam at the end. There's also an observation that takes place, and a professional discussion, so that we're ensuring not only the individual has the skills and the practical acumen that they're going to need, but they've also got the employability skills so that they can come in and be a really useful member of your workforce from day one of completing their apprenticeship. In terms of entry requirements, it's one of the areas that we work on an individual employer basis to ensure that the employees that you send to us for apprenticeships are appropriate and right for a level 4 qualification. It's really key to make sure that we are putting people on these courses that can really benefit and can cope with them. What we can do is help you make sure that those employees where they aren't yet ready to move on to the level 4 qualification, that we can either do some pre-apprenticeship training with them to get them ready to be able to move on, or we can access our network of suppliers to provide some of the lower level training so that we can help them get ready to move on to the level 4 apprenticeship. But at the end of the day, we recognise that they're your employees, and so the decision needs to sit with you with the approach that you want to take. So just to conclude my presentation this afternoon, I just want to reinforce really that yes, we are the high-speed college, but our courses that we offer are not just appropriate for high-speed rail, they are appropriate for conventional rail as well. So this really is about investing in people who can work on the modernisation of the existing infrastructure as well as bring into play the project of HS2. Our students will be taught in a rounded way, so we want to make sure that we're doing teaching in a variety of different manners. So some of that will be project-based, some of it is out on the workplace if they're an apprentice, and some of it will be in the college doing skills development in our workshops and in our teaching spaces. We have a multidisciplinary approach. We don't want to develop people who only understand one aspect of the industry. We want to make sure that they understand the breadth of what takes place and how they fit in that context. So we do make sure that we work on a lot of live projects and get our learners to be considering those live projects, to be doing problem solving and tackling some of the real issues that are taking place at the moment. Diversity is key to us. We want to ensure that this workforce is not following the current pattern of only 4% of females being rail engineers in the sector. We want to make sure that we grow that figure. And I'm really pleased to be able to say that from the applicants that we've had so far for our September 18 cohort, a third of our applications are coming from females who want to get into the sector, which I think is a really positive move forward, but we want to continue that journey and make sure that we increase those numbers. And ultimately, we want to support your company to be able to take advantage of HS2, but also to be able to grow and develop and to give you the workforce that you need to be able to increase your productivity and to take advantage of the opportunities coming forward. So we can help you prepare for some of your consideration about what you'd like to put into your bid, what you can be doing around skills, education and employment, and we can provide some of those opportunities through the college. What I would really encourage is that you get in touch with a member of the National College team. There's a number of them here. We have a stand so that we can talk about how we can help you and get you booked in for a detailed conversation about what this could mean for your organisation. Thank you very much.